Howdy hi, welcome to our podcast.
Welcome back.
Yeah, today we will be talking about a bunch of things, including grounding and the importance of it.
And uniqueness and self-expression and self-judgment, how self-judgment gets in the way of expressing our uniqueness. And as you can tell, we are in nature today, so we have something else today, something different.
Yeah, and we also touched on the importance of gratitude as well.
Yes. You say about grounding? You did.
I did.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so let's dive in.
Yay! Yeah, as we were stepping onto the park again today, I was reminded about the importance of grounding. Because it's something that I don't do nearly enough, especially over the colder months. In actual fact, I quite like putting my feet on the ground, even when it is quite cold, especially when I can just get that back in. But
wet feet on the cold ground, quite nice.
Yeah, and there's so many benefits to actually putting your feet on bare earth. The human resonance, the heartbeat of the planet, is the same frequency that we vibrate at ourselves, so it connects us and rebalances us with Gaia herself.
Yeah, because we are children of Earth, right? We are like extension of Earth, and everything is connected with us. And even our heart resonance, like when apparently they can measure those vibrations that are emitted by the heart, like several yards away from you. So that is something that definitely in my imagination, in my kind of like sense or intuition, that will be amplified by when you spend more time grounding in nature, because you are, obviously you are purifying your aura as well this way.
The reach of our heart's vibration actually expands in direct correspondence with our frequency as well. So the higher we're vibing, literally the farther our reach goes, and the more people and things and everything interact with and impact.
And I was reading actually something about aura yesterday, and I think it was from Gene Key's book. I think it were words of Richard Rath, and he was talking about it was from the glossary of empowerment on the Gene Key's website, and he was talking about that aura is basically like you have Akashic records, which is like a compilation of all the deeds, thoughts, and everything that happened in the universe through the personal and collective experience. But also when it comes to aura is like a kind of like a litmus paper of your current emotional, mental, and spiritual state. Brian, come sit down.
Sit down, buddy.
You can be in the film too. You need to sit down. So definitely for me, it's being in nature and being in the sun is like very, very uplifting and empowering, and also motivating. Did I say inspiring?
Very
inspiring.
It's I was reading the other day as well about the impact that just being grounding in has, and apparently I can't actually remember the amount of time required, but this is regular grounding, literally just putting your feet on the earth, reduces depression, reduces even things like there's even studies out there suggesting that it impacts cancer rates and things like that. It's just heart disease, all of that sort of stuff. It regulates all of our systems, all of our energy fields, and brings us back into that oneness. Even if our mind is elsewhere, our body is literally being reminded of our oneness by connecting feet to earth. It was interesting. Again, another thing I was reading, there was this chap that was talking about when he was a child, he didn't actually own a pair of shoes until he was about 15 or 16 years of age, and he spent his entire life like barefoot on the earth. And he had calloused feet, but they never hurt, and he said that he'd never ever felt as alive since in his life since starting wearing shoes. And I found the whole article really warming and uplifting, and a reminder that there's a lot of things that we get right as human beings, and there's a lot of things that we don't, and blocking that natural
life.
Connection
with everything.
is really to our detriment, and it's really important that we consciously undo that as much as possible.
Yeah, very often, many people these days actually point out what has become our reality, which is our disconnection from nature, and thinking that we are not from nature, we are not part of nature, that we kind of only inhabit.
Yeah, we live in these brick houses and our electricity.
And also, and this is, it's, again, I think it's circling back to this, naturalness, which is very often, we just think, and what is natural to us, and at the same time, how natural can we feel actually when we are in nature. It's like, for me, it's like the inner child in me comes to life, comes alive and comes to play, and it's like this sense of wonder, even if you're just strolling through the park or through a forest. It's that sense of wonder and that childhood kind of mystery that draws you in, and the whole mood can change, in like less than 5 minutes when you are in nature. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. There are meditations that you can do that have grounding techniques, and it does to an extent connect us with the earth and with that energy, but I don't think anything really beats just getting your bare feet on earth.
Yeah, because on the other hand, like you're saying, to the brain, it doesn't brain doesn't differentiate between what's imagined and what's felt, as long as you can feel the feelings that you would feel when you actually were in contact with nature. So if you don't have access to nature, or have days when you don't have access to nature, then that's that's a good thing to look into, like grounding meditations, because during those you imagine that your energy goes and merges with the energy of Mother Earth.
It's absolutely beautiful day
today.
It's
gorgeous day.
I'm a bit concerned I'm going to end up as red as my dress though.
No, you're not facing the sun, so you should be fine.
Do you want to talk about let the conversation dive back and get on to self-judgment?
I'd like to talk about this pretty complicated journey that we often go on. We are being born as a unique individual with a sense of our gifts and talents and uniqueness, and as we go through the, let's say, cycle of conditioning, as we take on the beliefs of our parents, our friends, grandparents, and all the environment that we live in, then we lose that uniqueness, that sense of uniqueness. We never lose uniqueness, but we lose the sense and connection of the mind and the heart, because uniqueness lives here in our body and in the heart, and it's like direct connection to the source. But then in our mind, what becomes more relevant is that notion of physical safety, emotional, mental safety, and very often to ensure that we are safe, we think we have to basically fit in. We have to follow the rules. We have to follow someone else's thinking, someone else's
society doesn't exactly
view.
encourage individuality, does it? I mean, look at modern day schools; they're literally conformity factories.
Absolutely.
And
at the same time, I feel it is that amazing hero's journey, that you have to get lost to find yourself again.
That's true.
And therefore whole spectrum of consciousness that is in physical reality facilitates all this, the whole journey. Because if there was no challenges like that, then we would just be all so tapped in, and therefore we would have completely different world. We wouldn't have physical world by now. I feel, you know.
Yeah, we'd
That-
have transcended that.
Transcended
we'd
that
have
into
beyond
the
that, the need for
into
that.
that higher vibrations and less dense physicality, and that would enable us to again communicate telepathically, be connected to each other on conscious level.
Yeah.
All these connections that is heart to heart, we can feel it, but because our thoughts and our conditioning has polluted our connection to our extra sensory perception.
Yeah.
Therefore, we cannot really consciously feel this. Very often, there are people who are more sensitive to that. You are one of those people that can feel it. I can feel like, hang on, let's check this, if this is still recording. No? Shit.
I don't want to do anything.
Oh, you could switch to text.
That's why. I can't believe that.
Well, we'll see what we have we're probably going to have Brian's ponting in the
Yeah.
forefront. But I was talking about this uniqueness. So there is this everyone, each of us has their own unique style, and very often that style cannot come online because we are basically feeling not safe to be ourselves. Because what that means to be ourselves is to be basically okay with being not liked, with being abandoned, with being rejected.
Yeah.
And as children we learn that it's painful, so therefore we kind of create the persona that would be more fitting, and the persona that would be so would enable us to feel safer, on emotional, mental level and physical as well.
Yeah.
Very often you can have violent parents, right? If you are not
Literally
obedient,
not safe to be yourself.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you are not obedient, then you may be punished physically as well. So that's how this hero's journey is constructed. Some people have, you can say, objectively, or rather, no, that would be always subjectively harder journey. Some people have easier journey, but that always will be subjective because
Yeah.
there is no truth in the subjective opinion. It's just an
Absolutely.
opinion.
Everybody has
and-
different tolerances, different senses of
an
normal.
opinion is dictated
Yeah.
by our worldview,
Yeah.
and that worldview is dictated by conditioning we have. But I imagine the world in the future. I envision the world in the future where everyone is so tapped into their own uniqueness and their own role that play in this world, that there is no competition. Everyone knows that there is enough of everything, because everyone is included, everyone is wanted, everyone is desired, because everyone is just a unique piece of puzzle in the whole spectrum of
And
this.
of course, when we stop judging ourselves and then allow ourselves to be our true authentic selves, the judgment we hold for others disappears as
because
well.
all judgment is self-judgment.
Exactly.
It's just projected, onto
out.
others.
So with that unity, that's true unity, isn't
Yeah.
it? Where we all play our specific role, and we're all loved for it, and appreciated for it.
Those things that we judge in others are basically things that we don't like in ourselves. But it's easier to not to take responsibility for your actions or emotions. It's easier to say, oh, you made me feel that way. The same is with that, is judge someone else instead of judge yourself, because your ego will not let you judge yourself until you are aware of that thing in you that you don't like. It's just going to kind of like project that onto your reality, and therefore you're going to see what you judge about yourself. You're just going to keep attracting in your life.
The importance of shadow work, right there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I like that vision of the future, where everybody is just uniquely, authentically themselves.
Conscious about what they are, who they are, and because those remnants of that, even if we like, even if we abandon that part of ourselves, that connection with our heart, through which the source speaks, each of us has translates inspiration in different unique way, right? But even when we lose that connection and that sense, and we think that, oh, there is nothing special about me, there is nothing unique about me, therefore I always will be comparing myself to others. For example, I very often come back to it when I was younger, and I knew that I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to write, but I was in love with writing of other people, and therefore
always comparing. They write so much better than I do.
Yes,
I can never write as well
yes,
as that.
because I never felt that I could actually reach the depth of the experience that they did.
Yeah.
But I was like 20 something, and they were like 50 or 60, and I didn't take that into account. And I didn't take into account the most important thing, that I was running away from the very thing I wanted to talk about.
And
so I could not reach
really
that.
Taking into account your unique expression and the validity of that as well.
Because I was running from that expression, from being myself, because I didn't accept myself. So how could I express the very thing I don't accept if I keep hiding it from my own self? That's always the thing. That's universal and archetypal. That we feel constricted in our life, because we feel that there's something wrong with us. Maybe we were told there was something wrong with us, and we internalize that. That's how judgment, I believe, self-judgment is being born in the first place. Is being born in the childhood by internalizing opinions of other people and what they accept and what they don't accept. So if I was being told off for expressing my heartfelt opinions, which were basically like my intuition coming to play, and talking about things that are not healthy in society, and I was criticized by that. Then to stay safe, my mind just kind of developed this shield, and those things were not allowed to come out anymore, because the feeling of being rejected felt not really nice.
Absolutely. See, for me, you sort of saying about I'm not unique enough. I think quite often it was the opposite for me. I felt so very different, so very unique from everybody.
Me too. But I didn't feel it was safe to express that.
Constantly being told you're too much.
I was being told the same, just in different words. Not I was too much, but that in a way that, like in a sarcastic way, being criticized for knowing everything. And only way to, I believe, only way to tap into this unique self-expression, unique connection to inspiration and the source, leads through self-acceptance. And how my personal journey was through connecting with my inner child through creativity, through painting. Started painting, and that enabled me to actually access my subconsciousness as well, and observe my inner dialogue. When I was during the painting, I was comparing myself to others, or thinking, what my friend is going to think about this, and there were some intricate connections that I kind of, when I connected the dots, I realized that it was because of being criticized as a child, and
I feel like I feel most myself and most authentically me when I'm sharing my wisdom. But the problem is that a lot of the facade that I've created, that my ego has created in order to protect myself in this world, is the very thing that repels people from wanting to listen and being willing to receive that wisdom. And that's something that I've sort of battled with a fair bit. And even myself, I get tripped up sometimes because there is an enormous amount of wisdom in me. But that in itself, that knowledge can feed the ego itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And, it can just tell you that you are the special one.
Absolutely. I'm amazing. Listen to me, everybody.
It's the shadow of vanity.
Absolutely.
And therefore, the gift of the archetype is discrimination. It discriminates what comes from the mind and what comes from the heart. But when you are open to the wisdom that flows through you and is encoded in your body, then if you channel that, then that comes from the heart, right? It's only when you start actually thinking that that what you know is more than someone else. That's where ego trips us up. Even we have good intentions to start with, but very often, it can turn into self-protection actually mechanism, because this persona that is, I am, I know it all. That's a self-protection as well mechanism. All the shadows are basically ego's construct to protect wounded heart. Because how the shadow forms in the first place is our heart. The mind thinks that our heart cannot take it anymore. Therefore, it creates some kind of mechanism that will stop us sharing our heart, and all the creativity, all the wisdom flows through this, right? I feel amazing right now when I'm saying those things, because they are just flowing through me, This is like sharing my wisdom as well, and I attempt to do the same through creativity, especially writing. But once I start thinking that what someone else will think of me, or
judgment,
or any kind of judgment, whether I'm doing it right or wrong, whether I have the right form or I use the right words, and that's where we trip ourselves up, and we lose that connection with the heart and with the source.
And the individuality.
Yeah, exactly. And so interesting, because I was saying earlier that I didn't feel doing podcast today, but didn't really feel super tapped in, super inspired to do the podcast. But as these words are flowing from me now, I'm feeling like really connected, and also I think sitting on the ground on Mother Earth, that helps to be connected to this inspiration, and I'd love to do transcripts from our conversation today as well, and use it in my writing, or use it in other ways of offerings that we do. I think that would be cool. Brian is exploring. Anything else you would like to add today, baby?
No. I suppose again, slightly different one, but one that's been coming up for both of us, I think, for the last little while, is something that we probably all know, but it's nice to have a little reminder, and that is the importance of Come on. Go on, out of the way, buddy. The importance of not having the dog get in front of the camera. No, the importance of sitting in gratitude. I think most of us already know that we attract what we put out. It's the law of attraction. It's one of the most basic fundamental laws of our existence. And I found myself recently realising that, like, my relationship here, our relationship, it's something that I have yearned for my entire life. And when we found each other, it was strange in that it wasn't, but it made me realise that I hadn't ever found anything close before, and all the times that I thought I had found love, it just wasn't.
Same.
It wasn't close. This is what I've been longing for.
Yeah, me too.
And it was quite horrifying, actually. I suppose that's judgment in itself, but to think how quickly it was after actually receiving this bountiful blessing that I had yearned for my entire life, before I'm looking around like, right, what next? What haven't I got now? What do I need more in my life? Rather than actually sitting in the insane, intense joy and gratitude of having a lifelong dream and longing fulfilled, and actually having this beautiful, beautiful experience. And that was quite a bit of an eye opener. I think that only hit me about a week ago. I was just like, what on earth? And since then I've been making a much more I've been bringing my consciousness into just how blessed I am, and it feels so good. There's a lot of people will tell you, and I'm sure it's actually really true, that when you sit in gratitude, the energies around you, your external experience brings more things into your life for you to be grateful for, because that is the nature of the law of attraction. But aside from any of motivations for needing to sit in gratitude or bringing yourself into gratitude or consciously bringing yourself into gratitude, the greatest gift and blessing of that for me is it just feels so bloody good to sit in that gratitude. It's such a beautiful sensation. It is just so lush, and
and you just need to connect with with your heart, and then you remember our love and what ripples this love creates, and like you're saying, just it feels otherworldly, it feels otherworldly, and your whole aura, your whole vibration purifies, because you are in this vibration of love, and that creates the gratitude automatically, right? But also I do believe that the reason that we could come together, could find each other again, was because both of us, let's say, reached certain level of self-love, self-acceptance.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, and we still have on human level, still have patterns and patterns of behavior and thinking that definitely needs introspection, because they are connected to our inner child. Absolutely. And we sometimes trigger each other by what comes up between us. But we are so mature in approach to that right now, that enables us to not to just turn backs on ourselves and just say, oh, you hurt me, I'm just gonna go, and I will come back when I want to, or something like that. We just kind of straight away we hold space for each other, and we say, okay, what that brings up for you, and what that could be connected to, and it's so much easier to actually to reach those memories that where that feeling of rejection or lack of self-acceptance originated. When you have safe haven, you can that the other person can hold space for you and listen to you with open heart. And also the thing is, this is that very often is interesting, because it's circling back to that ability to express your unique self, and one of the protective mechanism of your psyche to actually prevent you from expressing that, because your mind thinks that if you do, you're gonna encounter something that is unsafe, and perfectionism is one of those things, because even if you take any creative expression, you will always kind of judge it for, oh, that could be better, I could do it better, and you will just prevent putting it out there, basically expressing your true nature forever, because it always can be improved, and your kind of sense of improvement changes with time as well. So you can never finish that book, you can never finish a song, you can never finish a poem, painting, because you're looking for perfection. And in the case you presented, in what was going through your mind, it's like, I have love of my life, but at the same time I don't have this and that and that, and therefore I cannot be happy. Basically that's what it is. I cannot be fully happy, because I can only be happy if I have that. But this is the same archetype, same pattern, what like millionaires who have everything you could imagine in the realm of money and finances, and they're still miserable.
Yeah.
because that's not what they were looking for. They were looking for love, but they thought that that would give them that fulfillment, that would fill that void, you know. And very often, I have that with creativity as well, you know. I can, you know, very often I am happy and grateful when I'm creating, but then that same part of mind which told you that you still don't have this and that, you know, tell me, oh, okay, but what's the next thing, you know, instead of just immerse myself with this gratitude for my talent and for this feeling that it brought me, you know, expressing that talent, yeah. So yeah, definitely being present is, I feel the, you know, universal, if not law, then universal tool to basically constantly being able to be in vibration of love.
Yeah.
Because then, when we are not present, I mean, when we strive for something else, then we are not present where we are right now, you know? We can finish now unless you...
I think,
you have
I think
something
these dogs
else?
want to get back, don't you guys? Yeah, out of the sunshine, it's very hot.
Now we're going to check whether this has been recorded at all.
Yay!
Oh,
What?
looks like it has. Yeah, it was lovely conversation. Thank you, baby.
Thank you.
So what's next?